Hi everyone and welcome to Barefoot Radio. My name is Leanne, the Barefoot Medium, and this show aims to provide you with guidance and support to help you connect, transform and grow in all things love, soul and spirit. As an international medium, channel, twin flame, transformational coach and author, I am absolutely passionate about reconnecting people with loved ones who've passed over, as well as providing you with practical knowledge and guidance, tools and techniques you can use in your everyday lives to embrace what you love and what brings you into connection with your joy so you can be more of your authentic self. Now feel free to kick off your shoes, sit back, relax and enjoy today's show, where I am joined by Jules Cardillo, and I hope I said that correctly, a Zen Thai flow body worker and educator, intuitive mentor and facilitator of Sister Circles, a place for women to come, be seen and heard by love as they undertake deep healing and transformation and navigate all that comes with this life. Jules offers all her clients a space where they feel supported, can step into their strength and connect with their inner wisdom, which creates profound positive change that ripples out into all areas of their lives. She also helps her clients to awaken to and become conscious of all aspects of themselves and open to the flow of life physically, emotionally, and spiritually, as well as understand how they can work with the elements, seasons, and circles to weave with the balance and imbalances, the yin and the yang, the darkness and the light, using their own healing powers through creativity, movement, travel, ritual, sharing, and of course, laughter. Not only is Jules here to share her story with us, we are also going to be discussing working with the elements. Welcome, Jules.
Hi, thank you, Leanne.
And can you share with listeners for me a little bit about your background and how you've come to be doing what you're doing?
It was probably, it's a few years ago now. I was living in a corporate environment in a suit, and I was doing a lot of commuting and had a pretty high-profile job. I moved to the Sunshine Coast after coming back from London, was living in London and Ireland for a while, and moved back to the Sunshine Coast to be closer to the beach and nature. I still found myself driving to the city and being amongst all of that. So I was sitting at a cafe at Yandina, and I looked up on a board, and there was a poster saying Zentai Shiatsu. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. And so from there, that's where I started my Zentai Shiatsu journey. It wasn't very big at that stage. It was, there was just a small group of people. And I always knew that that's where I was headed. I also, in the midst of doing that, I moved from my corporate up to the Sunshine Coast, but I was still wearing a suit. So I decided that I wasn't going to do that anymore either. And I ended up being a chiropractic assistant, which then moved me into a whole new philosophy of wellness and health. So from there, everything just eventually merged in together of where I am today, basically. The catalyst was probably having my daughter 7 years ago, and she's one of my biggest whys. Also, in the last probably 12 years, I think it's been, I'm adopted. So I've gone on a massive transformation and journey through this adoption of finding out a bit more about myself and actually a lot more about myself. A lot of things I never knew as well, where there was a lot of unanswered questions, to then, merging into all sorts of different trainings and coaching with Leanne, to bring myself, out a little bit more and learn to trust has been a very big, massive learning for me is to trust where I am today.
Awesome. Now, I want to pick up on a number of things that you talked about and flow into that before we get into talking about working with the elements. Zentai. For those people who are listening who may never have heard about Zentai, talk to me about what that is and what are the benefits in practicing it.
So Zentai for me is so many things. What it actually is a form of body work. So there's the Zen, which is the acupressure points, and the Tai is the Thai massage. So it's done on a mat on the floor, a comfortable mat, you're fully clothed. And basically they say the Thai massage is the lazy man's yoga. So I do all of the stretching and the movement for you, and it's fluid, really fluid and gentle. It's not as full on as some of the Thai massage can be. It's also joint mobility. So there's a few osteotherapy techniques in there. So we work with the elements. So that's where the elements come in. So it's based on the Chinese medicine of the 5 elements. And also there's Ayurvedic principles in there as well. So it's the whole kind of shebang of this body work. It can revitalize you. It can completely relax you. It depends on what's going on with your body to work with the imbalances and the balances of your body and the elements. So there's another side of the Zentai Shiatsu is the asana practice, which is the yoga, and that works with the elements as well. So when we're doing asana, we're working through all the elements in the meridians, which is basically chi, which is our energy, our life force. So that's what we're doing in the body work as well as in the asana. But in the body work, we are moving your chi. So we're moving the stagnation, which is in your body. So we're moving the flow and we're getting everything basically moving again. So that's it kind of in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I love how you explain that, because what's popping into my mind is my work with the transformational coaching and helping people shift through unconscious blocks or limiting beliefs or patterns that might be sabotaging their progress toward what it is they want and desire. And for some people, we can work on that mental level with the thoughts and just talk it through. With other people, they need to feel it, and others need to do some physical activity or some movement to be able to get the energy flowing again. So the Zentai bodywork and the other yoga practice that goes with it is a beautiful opportunity for listeners who may be feeling stuck or blocked or stagnant and like the energy is not flowing. Go and get yourself a Zentai massage and bodywork session, or do some yoga to help you get the energy flowing again. So thank you, Jules, for sharing a little bit about what that is in the time that we've got. And now I want to jump into the topic of working with the elements. Talk to me about what the elements are. Start with your first one and let's work through that and see where we can connect in some of these dots with what you do.
Okay, sure. So we've got our 5 elements. The earth element, which is I do. There's the metal element, which is I feel. There's the water element, I dream. And the wood element, I think. And the fire element, I know. The first element is earth that we'll go through. So some of the emotions that come up when we talk about it, it can be positive or negative emotion, but that's neither here nor there, because we have emotions anyway, and it's okay to embrace both of those emotions for you to be able to move through certain areas of your life and whatever's going on with you. So the emotion of worry can be for the earth, and the positive is balance. You're in balance and there's openness. So it provides an upward energy so that we can let our weight be supported by the earth. So it's a very nourishing element. There's also, you need to have a little bit of stillness and to recognize each moment, so to be present as well. It supports the transformation of food into energy, and it's associated with the mind, and it's in charge of the logical thought. Nourishes all aspects of ourselves. It's stability, support, receptivity.
So what I can see from that earth element is that it's really about, and in spiritual terms, about being grounded and present and really in the physical world and the action and the doing that we create in the world. Is that true?
Yeah, it's the possibilities and the options of the transformation into where we want to go.
Yeah, awesome. And so working with that beautiful earth element in our everyday lives, and I'm not surprised that worry or anxiety was the emotion from the negative that can block in some ways that element, because worry and anxiety around manifesting and co-creating also creates blockages in us taking actions because we're not sure about the outcome. And so it's kind of similar when you're working with the elements in Zen Tai. So I love that. So talk to me about the next element.
So the next element is metal, and its emotions are sadness and courage. So it defines our borders. So it gives us a sense of what is us and what is not us. So it's the letting go, it's the taking in, and it's the letting go. So the organs with that are the lungs and the large intestine. So when you look at it at that, it's the breath, the bringing in, and the elimination of what you want to let go of. So it's also our corporate soul, so the corporeal soul, which is the Po. So it's the time between our first breath of this lifetime to our last.
Yeah.
And it's what we want to do in between all of that. So there's only one constant, and that's change.
Exactly. And, sadness can keep us stuck where we don't want to be and can stop us from creating the change and transformation that we want. And in order to create the change, we need courage. So that metal element is perfect for creating that, bringing courage to go, you know what, I can do this, I've got this, and really allowing yourself to embrace what it is you want in life. So I really enjoy that.
So water is I dream. It's the emotion can be fear, or on the flip side, there's the yin is the gentleness and the yang is the inner power. So it's our willpower. It's the source of life, and it's the capacity to move and flow. So they say in Chinese medicine that our essence of our life is stored in our kidneys. So when we're refueling, they say that we should be refueling around our kidneys, because that's where we're going to move forward, is through that essence. So so it's balance, and it's the depth, and it's the flow, and it's the power. It's where we find our inner strength, and from we're creating our dreams. So it's normally in winter when we're cocooned in and we're planning and we're dreaming of what we're going to achieve when we pop out in spring and summer. So it's the cultivation, the whole yin quiet winter cultivation time for us to start planning.
And I'm kind of seeing the ocean as you're talking about that as well, where, we've got the ebb and flow of the tides coming in and going out, and that power that can be behind the waves that, really does create the change and drive us towards what we want and towards our dreams, or keep us stagnant and stuck, And intuitively, I'm kind of looking at, show me the water, and going, where is it feeling like at the moment? Is it clear and crisp? Is it murky and muddy? Is it, churning? Is it a whirlpool? Is it, just flowing beautifully? Have a think about that for those of you who are listening, about what the water element might be talking to you about, and how you're flowing with that energy at the moment, and whether you're going towards your dreams or away from them.
It. Okay, the next one is what we're in at the moment, and it's wood. So the wood element is I think. So there's anger on one side, and then there's kindness on the other. So it's basically different spectrums of it. it's eventually that everything grows and it enriches, expands, warms, and it multiplies. So it's like a tree. So you're in the earth, you're stuck in the earth element, and it's spring. So you've popped through the other elements, and now you're emerging with your ideas of what you've been cultivating in your water element. So I dream, and now it's starting to come to fruition. So it's just like a tree. It's community. It's you can imagine yourself as a tree. And what type of tree are you? Are you a sturdy, like lily-pilly, or an oak tree, very grounded and got this beautiful thing going on up above, basically? Yeah. And also you could be the bamboo, where you're nice and hollow and you're just letting everything go through you and letting the divine just sort it out for you, the universe. And you're bending and flowing and you're flexible and you're just breezing in the wind kind of thing. So, it's responsible for the free flowing of our chi, for our energy. And it really likes the strategic planning and the organization. So it's the general in our body. So that's the long-term decisions. And there's also the short-term decisions as well, which is our gallbladder. So there's lots of strategic organizing going on in this time. And that's a wood element.
Yeah. It's reminding me of planting your seeds of manifesting. What is it? What ideas or dreams or visions have you got? And planting those seeds, and then what are you watering it with, and how are you allowing it to grow? When you talk about the tree, is what are you watering your tree with, and those seeds that you've planted, are they growing, or are they full of weeds, and do you need to pluck the weeds out, or are they full and delicious and ripe and abundant and ready to come into your world? So I'm loving how your description of the elements is really bringing in those visuals for me as well to share with listeners, so that you can really think about how it is you're creating and manifesting in your life, because working with the elements is all about what you're doing in your everyday life.
Yeah, it's called our hun, which is our ethereal soul. So they say at nighttime when we go to sleep that our soul will leave our body. And, when people say to you, oh, maybe you should go sleep on it. So there's some decisions that you have been talking about, and they go, oh, maybe if you have a good night's sleep, you'll go and, it'll be better tomorrow. So that's, in Chinese medicine, they're saying that you're giving your soul a rest, and then through the night, your soul takes off and goes and does whatever it has to do, and then comes back into your body in the morning, and you've made a clear decision, hopefully.
I like how optimistic you are about making a decision in the morning. Oh, cool.
Our last one is the fire element, and it's I know. So the emotions are joy and impatience is the other one. So it governs our internal and external relationships. So it's our consciousness and self-awareness, and it's how we relate to others through our emotions. It's our intuition, wisdom, our spiritual guidance, and it's to do with what our heart wants. So I'm a little bit in love with this one. I'm in love with all of them. I had to embrace all of them, as we all do through different stages of our lives. But this one I've been working with a lot. So in Chinese medicine, they say it's our Shen. So it's our heart mind, which is the Empress, which is our heart. But there's also, the other organs related to it are the small intestine, the pericardium, and the triple here. The pericardium is this sac that's covering our heart and protecting it, which we tend to do. So it's expressing your joy and to spread that gift first within ourselves and then with others. So when it's in balance, it's warm and transforming excitement, responsive. When it's not, it's erratic and all over the shop and nervous and shattered shen, they call it.
Okay. Yeah. And I can see how that's true with fire, and I'm kind of seeing this big explosion, fireball, if you're out of balance and there's stuff going on there. And I love how you talk about joy and its connection with that following your heart, because in a lot of the work that I do with clients, and even a lot of spiritual people talk about follow your heart, make decisions by following your heart. What does that even mean, look like, or sound like, or feel like? And the reality is your heart knows by what brings you joy. And essentially, when someone says to you, follow your heart, you really need to be looking at following what feels joyful for you, because that's your soul guiding you to where you're meant to be and what you're meant to be doing. Whether it's relationships, work, whatever, if you're feeling stuck, stagnant, frustrated, impatient, then the joy's gone out of it. And you need to come back and go within and, like you said, work with the element of fire and come back to, is this joyful for me or not? And if it's not, you need to get honest and real and raw with yourself and go, this isn't working for me, it's not joyful. What is it that I need to change and transform here? So I love how all of those things kind of fit into a beautiful, I'm seeing a globe, a beautiful circle of life that we can work with. And our planet and the elements that we have around us talk to us, and we can work with them in so many different ways. And I'm really enjoying hearing about the Chinese medicine aspect, because for me, those elements mean different things in the kind of witchy elements side of things, but I love learning about different perspectives. So thank you for sharing that information with our listeners today, Jules. Talk to me about 2 or 3 tips or strategies you would give people that they can start working with the elements in their everyday life. How can they do that for themselves?
Well, I guess we can start with fire, because that's where we've ended and it all works in with each other. With fire, you can bring a little bit of water element in there, so basically you've got to cool your jets off a little bit as well. But you can, for me, it was photography. So you just bring in something that you enjoy doing. Also it was dancing and singing, and so basically I'd stopped doing a lot of those things and I brought those back into my life as well. So it was happy days. Earth, get out into the garden, go and just go for a walk without any shoes on. It doesn't actually have to be the garden, but just go and do some earthy things and eat lots of yellow food, they're nourishing, like pumpkin and potato and things like that. Metal element is to get back to your breath. We've forgotten how to breathe. We hold on to it. You're holding on to your breath. It's not going anywhere and you're running out of breath. So that's something to be mindful of. Water element, dream, write a journal, go swimming. Just go get back into nature and swim and journal and do yummy things like that. And have zentai, shiatsu, wood. But that's also, so wood, it's definitely, it can be go and do some yoga. And not everyone's up to doing that, but just go and stretch your body a little bit, because we can get really tight and rigid, and that's a big one with wood element, because a lot of the professions, if you want to put it down to that, are sitting in front of a computer because it's corporate. So they're all tight and rigid from sitting in a chair, but they're also all tight and rigid from all of the other things that are going on as well. I've been there, I can say that. So, and it's also, just if you're tricky, but to let go of, in the wood element, is to let go of control. It's a big controlling element. And anger, it's no use to anyone, let alone yourself. So this is when dis-ease appears and you won't be able to enjoy any of the elements. So
one of the really funny ones I was listening to you talk about, was holding your breath, or, reminding ourselves to breathe. Was that the metal element, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a story from when I was a baby. Apparently I used to hold my breath until I turned blue and passed out. So it's really interesting how that breath is about breathing in life and letting go, and that's, as a Virgo as well. I'm a planner, I'm an organizer, I'm good at that, and it's one of my beautiful, amazing qualities. I've had to learn to be more flexible and to flow more in different ways and teach myself how to let go. And for me, I stepped out of corporate as well. I was in corporate management and a university environment that was very stressful, inflexible, and you turned up every day and did the same thing, and for 10 years. And, that realization that I was doing that and there was no joy in it anymore created a big moment of transformation where I went, that's it, I'm done. And one of the first things I did was, I don't even know who I am, what I need to do, was I went to a meditation group and I learned how to breathe. I learned how to connect with me, how to connect with my emotions, with my thoughts, with all of that, so that I could find what I'm passionate about, what brings me joy, and find my path in life. So I love how you bring those elements in and work with them. Can you share with listeners a little bit about how they can connect with you and how they can work with you if they're interested in learning more about the body work or the yoga or working with the elements, whatever it is that you can help and support them with?
Yeah, sure. You can find me, my website is juliecardillo.com.au. So JULIECARDILLO, juliecardillo.com.au. And that's the same for my Facebook, Jules Cardillo, and it changed the rhythm of your vibration is the hashtag. And I think Instagram is Jules_rhythm of your vibration. So I've been sharing bits and pieces about the different elements and stuff. So yeah, so you can email me as well. It's hello@juliecardillo.com.au, and yeah, we can come in and try out the body work. Also, I've got the Sister Circles. The Sister Circles are a 5-weekly session of women coming together and joining and just sitting in the space and sharing whatever's present for us in that moment or not. It's up to the individual of where they're at. You are supported on your journey through the 5 weekly sessions, and I'll also be doing some online sessions. There's some dates will be coming soon for those. I've also got some workshops coming up, some manifesting workshops and working with the elements, and there's a few other things in the pipeline at the moment. So it's pretty exciting new year to start. Lots of things going on. Yeah, can't wait to share.
And the Sister Circles really are a beautiful, amazing space for, like you said, women to come together, and us as women have an inherent need to build community and have that community around us and communicate and connect. Our masculine counterpart doesn't necessarily need that sense of community as much as the feminine does. It's in our nature. So for anyone who is interested in the Sister Circles, jump on Jules's website and check out details about that and learn a little bit more about how she beautifully holds space for you to connect more with who you are and to connect with the emotions and the elements and things that are going on in your everyday world, so that you can shift and transform what you're experiencing in your everyday lives. Thank you so much, Jules, for joining me on today's episode. For those of you who would like to connect with me further, you can also jump on my website, barefootmedium.com.au, and book in for individual readings, transformational coaching, or one of my courses that I have available, and become a member of the Barefoot Tribe, where you get access to a monthly newsletter and also exclusive benefits and free things each month. So jump on, subscribe to the Barefoot Tribe. Shoes are optional. Also head over to SoundCloud and hit the follow button on Barefoot Radio so you are the first to gain access to each episode. And you can find me there on SoundCloud at Leanne the Barefoot Medium. You can also connect with me through Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. Facebook is Leanne the Barefoot Medium, Instagram the Barefoot Medium, and YouTube Leanne the Barefoot Medium. Thank you all so much for joining me on this episode of Barefoot Radio. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Jules, and supporting each of our listeners to connect, transform and grow in all things love, soul and spirit. Wherever you are, whoever you are with, and whatever you are doing on your journey, I wish you a magical, loving and joyful week, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode of Barefoot Radio.